Pat Olson alongside Jim Brovelli as we come your way from the USF Dons Hotel in San Diego. Dons on the road down here, Jim. And before we get into this matchup tonight, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that very emotional back and forth game against BYU. It was a great win on the hilltop for the Dons this past Saturday.
It sure was, Pat. It was probably the best game of the year. Just watching college basketball, it was so exciting. Both teams had their runs, BYU in the first half, USF in the second half, and then the guard play of USF was outstanding. Both guards getting their career high. And Bouye making key baskets late. And then, of course, Shabazz off the bench, 10 for 10. I've never seen 10 for 10.
No, I don't think I've seen that either.
Yeah. That was just incredible. And then to me, Tavi Yurkatam defensively, when BYU late in the game, when it was really tight, they go to Childs on the low block, and Yurkatam really shut him down and held his ground, and defensively really turned it around for USF, and of course USF making the key baskets with the guards. Really an exciting basketball.
Yeah, the Dons with the win go to 4-3 in the West Coast Conference. There's now a log jam in third place, Jim, and we've talked about this over the years. It's always Gonzaga, St. Mary's, BYU, but USF has put itself in position with that win over the Cougars.
And that's all Todd can do right now is put your team in that position. We talked about it last week, playing St. Mary's and BYU in the same week. You know, you can be either second or third, you know, with that split. Now we're tied for third. So if you can hang in there and take one game at a time now, and some other teams are going to knock each other up, there's a chance. You know, you get in that top third there for conference play, working on that seeding. So you got to take one at a time. Tonight against San Diego is a really important game.
Yeah, Dons and Toreros here tonight in San Diego. You can tune into the radio broadcast 7 p.m. on KNBR 1050. Jim, let's roll back memory lane a bit. You coached here for a long time. So, you know, anything come to mind when you come down to San Diego? Because I know that this town, this community has a special place kind of in your heart. You coached at the University of San Diego for a number of years.
Memory lane, boy, it tells me how old I am, to tell you the truth. But a great experience down here. We had great people to work with. We had a tremendous president who supported college basketball. We had a tremendous vice president, athletic director. The players, I continue to talk to them along the way. We had a championship team in the WCC my final year down here. Tremendous memories. It's a great university. So yeah, coming down here is, you know, you get goosebumps. I do, you know, because of the experience that I had down here.
Dons have won 4 out of 5 games since they lost at Portland. What's been different? Because it seems like this team has really come together since they lost up inside the Child Center.
Yeah, and sometimes you need something like that, you know, as a wake-up call, and that was a wake-up call. Now, you got to hand it to Portland in that one game. They played probably their season best game against USF, and that happens on the road sometimes. So, but USF responds. They're a very resilient team. You know, they get through things. I can remember the Arizona State loss, for example, pre-conference, and it was a tough loss for USF. Well, they come back the next night and beat Cal. So, and they've done that a couple times. And so USF is really a solid team. They don't really rely on one player at all. One player does it one game, another player does it another game, and that's exciting as a coach, where they're all together as one, as a unit, and they trust each other. And this is, you know, one of the examples tonight. They're going to have to do that against USD.
You know, this is a San Diego team, Jim, that a year ago went to the NIT. They swept USF during the regular season, but they lost some people from last year. So this is a different Torero roster that USF will face here tonight.
Yeah, it is, Pat, and you know, you can't look back too much, you know, on those things. That they did have a great team last year, and they went to postseason. But at the same time, this is a different season. USF now playing very well. USD has struggled a little bit, but again, you got to be on guard, because on a given night, anybody can beat anyone in this conference. So you just got to take care of yourself. You got to play like you played against BYU, hopefully. But you know, you've got to continue to have that mojo that they got in that last game, and keep it going.
You know, we have the big game lurking on Saturday. Final thought: Gonzaga comes on to the hilltop. It's a 1 p.m. game. It's already a sellout.
Yeah.
So you coach, and obviously, you know, sometimes players, you know, will be thinking ahead to that game, and I know that's kind of a media cliche thing, but how do you avoid that if you're Todd Golden taking this team tonight, you know, onto the floor here at, you know, in San Diego? You know, you don't want them thinking too much about that game that's coming up on Saturday.
Well, you don't talk about it. That's it. Because the most important thing is USD. That's it. Because if you get knocked off at USD, all of a sudden now from third, tied for third, you're going to be down to fourth, fifth, or maybe even sixth for a tie. So you've got to be careful. And you got to take one game at a time. And they're going to be more important games, not only after tonight, but after Gonzaga, there's going to be more important games. So each game as you go is very important as you gear into that conference tournament proceeding. So worry about tonight, and then when you fly back and work tomorrow, then you start thinking about the next contest.
One game at a time, right?
One game at a time, and that's it.
There you go. All right, the Dons and Toreros tonight will have the broadcast on the radio side, 6:45 for the pregame on the KNBR at 10:50, along with Jim Brovelli, Pat Olson on USFDons.com.